Okay, get ready. They're saying it's waking up, supervolcano. Well, they don't understand what's going on there. Lurking threat. Long countdown. Going to take hundreds of thousands of years. Hidden chambers they found. Magnetic clues. Northeast danger. Supervolcanic past. Critical thresholds. They're bubbling just crazy, and heat is just going crazy. Slow heating. Well, they don't understand. It's not going to be that slow because we're burning so much. I'm sorry, I glitched out on me a little bit, but this slow heating, they're saying over tens of thousands of years, but it's not in any danger now. Well, I disagree. Uncertain fate. That's what I'm going to show you. Uncertain, yes. Now, this is exactly what they found. This is more structural. It's basalt, but it's got a lot of blood in there, because there's the lungs. It's got a lot of mucus and all that kind of stuff. Very, very bioreactive. This and this is the heart. It splits apart because of iron banding. This is the melt zone transition between basalt, which is a lot of gooey, rubbery stuff, but it's still kind of tough. And then this, which is just a tube running up your throat. These are the thyroid. This is the thyroid. The blue here is where the pools of sulfur. Basically, they're sulfur, and because this has heated up so much that it just forced the electrons into it to go up from phosphorus to sulfur. And that boils up in here and it vents off. If it didn't vent off, pow. Okay, everybody knows what lungs are, which I showed you, and a throat, but very few people know what the thyroid is. That's the thyroid gland right there. And it wraps right around here, and that's exactly what we see at Yellowstone. Okay, my friends, let's just start right off. The Earth is literally opening up. Caught on camera, rare footage reveals how a giant earthquake tore the Earth in seconds. Well, then there's slow motion, too. For the first time, scientists witness an undersea slow slip earthquake unzipping. It's just basically expanding. Now, there's also here, world's first slow motion earthquake travels miles in weeks. Captures, stuns scientists. This just goes through all the different stories about earthquakes and about the layers of the earth and the things we don't understand about these things. We're not picking up on these things. This is not just no reason here. And look at this. Hold on. All right, we'll just start right off with the facts. The Earth is biological. There is nothing that isn't biological. That is biological tissue. So is that, which is this. This membrane right here. And this fluid-filled highway is what is in everybody's body, and they're so thin you could look through it like a piece of glass. And the whole world is made of this stuff. Biology. There's the Hawaiian Islands. It's nothing but blood. It's a biological thing, and it's decomposing. And when this happens, the whole Earth is swelling. We're having slow motion earthquakes now. All right, if you want to watch the whole thing, it's up here. These are the lungs. This is the heart, and it splits apart because of iron banding. I explain it in here very clearly. This is the thyroid. This is the esophagus and the throat. And up here at the top, this blue is those pools of sulfurous dioxides. And, really, sulfur is a byproduct of the lungs breaking down. Well, to be more specific, sulfur is the byproduct of phosphorus, which is in the membranes. And this is just nothing but membrane. Bumping up to sulfur under the compression and the heat that is underneath here. It's just hotter than hell, and it's forcing electrons in to the phosphorus, bumping it up to sulfur. That's an up bump. All right, usually you think decay goes down, but it goes up too. All right, anybody can understand this. Don't think you can't understand this. Phosphorus has a gazillion different types of phosphorus. You think phosphorus is one. Well, phosphorus 31 is stable. That's the only one out of the whole batch of them that's stable. All of these other phosphoruses, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, and then it continues on up, way up. Now, what do they decay or upk to? They decay down to silicon and aluminum, primarily aluminum silicates, and magnesium a little bit. But they primarily decay downwards to aluminum silicates. However, under heat and pressure, they decay upwards. So it goes, instead of 31 particles, you go up to 32, 33, 34, 35. And they keep adding more and more neutrons to this proton count. And here it is, sulfur, 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 sulfur. That's how membranes turn into sulfur. And sulfur dioxide is what these big yellow pools are. You see that? This is boiling off here. And if it didn't, we'd be in big, well, they'd be in big trouble there. But it's a creature's body. It's just what it is. The whole Earth is biological. I have found zero that it's just something that happened that it was a rock. Every rock was originally biological. You see that? That's a hair follicle. So is that. Here it is right here. It's 2 inches wide. There's the hair shaft. The muscle comes down and locks right here. This is the sebaceous gland. That oils the hair. That's the root. And those two little dots there are the vein and artery, the hair papilla. It's 2 inches wide. That's a pretty good sized creature. All of the stuff I'm showing cannot be denied. It can only be avoided. Geology it's nothing more than biology. They're saying this is millions of years in one picture. Erosion, 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 sedimentation. No, that is the tendon antithesis right there of a gigantic creature. And there was a bone here, and there was muscle here. And you say, oh, Roger, how can you say that? Well, here's how I can say it. First of all, remember these layerings. That right there is the tendon central investment. The tendon has to move this way and that way. It has to be able to slide a little bit like this. That's why there's so many layers. And all of those layers have a gooey fluid in them. It's called synovial fluid. And it's very, very slippery. Now, I just showed you this with the tendon investment. Right here I have one in my shop, same thing, a smidge smaller. Where you're looking at in the ocean is from here to here. The bone is up here. That locks into that ball. Remember I showed you that round spot? This is what we're seeing in the ocean from here to here, because that is tough as hell. From here to here, it's just as tough as you can possibly imagine. From here, it just gets weak. You see all the pink? That's blood. These are arteries. And they're servicing this muscle. Not here. It's tendon. You don't need blood and tendon, hardly any at all. You need some, but not much. And then it glues in right here. And when I show you when it glues in, have you ever seen the Balbeck pregnant lady stone? Where do you see this? That is at Balbeck. That's the pregnant lady stone. And they broke a whole batch of them off here. It's not just this one. And they didn't cut these. That's exactly how they come. And they were taking it away from its coating. This is a coating that coats the whole thing. And how can I say that? Well, here's how I can say it. Don't forget, they're drilling under here. They're going to snap that right off. You see that? These are the Balbeck stones. The same thing as the Balbeck ones, only they're small. This here is glue. It glues these, and they can move back and forth. You see this little difference here? This one's slided a little bit different than that one. And they will do that. They have to do that. Well, let me show you. You see that? These are Balbeck stones coming out of here. They're the same as the Balbeck stones. All right, so don't forget, this is a tendon. This is this chunk of tendon right here, this chunk. Right here. And there's that ball right there. And here's the ball right there. These snap off these little tendon fibers. These are just little fibers. And in my shop, I showed you right here. I have those same fibers here. And you see them moving against each other. Of course, this thing's never going to move again. But this is where the tendon slid. And they can do a little bit of this. That's about as much as they would ever do, because they're glued in and they're tough as hell. And this is a really red, bloody investment that sends some little fibrils into the ends of those tendons. You see it here? Right here. This is flat like that. They break just flat like that. They didn't cut that. I doubt it. I know they didn't cut this. And that's how this is. And they dug underneath this. They all have a coating around them that they slide in and out of. That's what a tendon does. And this coating they take off. And then what's inside is the basalt column, and it's tough. This stuff here is not so tough. That's a floppy, gooey stuff. So they're going to drill in here and snap that right off. And somehow they had people big enough to move these things. All right, my whole point today is that the Earth is just rotting inside and expanding with the gases that are trapped inside the Earth. Another new hole in the ground at Norris Geyser Basin. Well, what else we got here? Hidden magma cap discovered at Yellowstone. That's over the top of those lungs. They never knew the lungs were there. These are the lungs. And there's another one here, Tree Island. I don't know, that could be the other one, but they're popping out everywhere around Earth. Everywhere they're having these problems. And the Earth, they say coal, iridium, mudstone. All of that is biological. That is all biology. All right, this right here, you see that? It's the same thing. These aren't layers on Earth. These are layers in tissue. And the black is vein blood, and it coats the red, which is the red blood, the hematite. They stay away from each other. You see how they're not mixed together? It's like a coating over the top of the red. That's what happens. The red blood and the black blood, they don't mix. This is a boundary layer. It's kaolinite. That's just clay. So it's not a boundary layer. It's an impact layer. There was no impact, maybe. I don't know if there was or not. Coal is just vein blood primarily. Mudstone is this stuff. Mudstone is just, well, like this right here is a lung. It's been DNA tested. And they would call that probably a mudstone. I don't know. Caesar here, they'd call him a mudstone from the outside. Inside, he's basalt with a neck. There's his neck. And an artery. And a vein. And a beak. And an eyeball. And a little nose hole. And feathers. Geology, kaput. Here it is right here, heat, the forgotten element of anaerobic digestion. That means under the Earth, capped, oxygen can't get to it. It expands and the Earth is literally popping open. All right, you ever hear of Cascadia? This is where all of these things are just expanding. Tectonic plate movements, slow earthquakes. Cascadia, New Zealand, Japan, they're everywhere. Well, let's take a look at Cascadia. Okay, so here we have Cascadia. right up to Alaska. The Aleutian chain is not considered part of Cascadia, but it actually is. Now, what is Cascadia? It is Scorpzilla. Here's his head. There's his shoulders. Runs all the way back up to Mount Spurr, which is his rectum, and then the tail continues out and becomes a scorpion pincher, squirting out its effluent. And this is the tube that delivers the deadly potion. This is the tube that delivers the deadly potion to the stinger, and the stinger falls into this wrinkle zone when it's not ready to kill. When something gets in here, and that happens. All right, so this is Scorpzilla. His beard is Crowley Lake. And they've never been able to explain that. There's all these big white columns that they, right over here, they can't explain. It's his beard. All right, this is Scorpzilla's beard. This is above ground. All right, and then below ground is this. The red is artery blood. The vein is black. I've shown it over and over and over. I don't know what else I can do. And we are destroying the earth by combusting. Every time we combust something, the envelope gets bigger and bigger. When it gets bigger and bigger, it absorbs more and more heat. It compresses and it rots the base of the earth, and it's exploding with gases. In the Arctic regions, the lakes are bubbling with methane. That's decomposition. All right, they know about this. Alaska's newest lakes are belching methane as they start to thaw out. It's just the decomposition goes off the charts. These things have been frozen forever. Well, for a long time.